All right, welcome back to Mr. Slover's Math. Today we are still solving equations one step, but this time we're going to do it by multiplying or dividing. So up top we still have the warm-up of collecting like terms, since we're still going to be utilizing that throughout the entire unit. Then number 2 is asking you just to rewrite the expressions in a different way. It's getting us used to seeing x over 3 is really x divided by 3. 4x is really 4 times x. And then letter C is the big one, negative x. Lots of students don't understand what that means, but negative x really means negative 1 times x. Now you're going to see quite a few of that today and then throughout the rest of the unit. This table should look familiar. It's the exact same table as yesterday. So the inverse operation of addition is subtraction. The inverse operation of subtraction is addition. And the inverse operation of multiplication is division, and the inverse operation of division is multiplication. So example 1 says solve each equation, show your work. Now in red I said no operation shown, it's assumed that it's multiplication. So this 3x is really saying 3 times x equals 27. So some number times 3 equals 27. Yes. We could guess. You can just keep plugging numbers into your calculator, but we want a more efficient way to do that. We want something that works all the time. So we're going to solve it algebraically. So 3x equals 27. 3 times x equals 27. Well, up here I said the inverse operation of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. Well, 3x divided by 3, you can't do 3x divided by 3 in your calculator, but you can do 3 divided by 3 in your calculator. You get 1. Well, you're still left with that x. So 1x is really the same as just x. And then on the right side of the equal sign, you have 27 divided by 3, which gives us 9. Let's look at letter B. 5x equals 65. Once again, that's really saying 5 times x equals 65. So to undo multiplication, I'm going to use division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. 5x divided by 5 is just x, or 1x. They mean the same thing. 65 divided by 5 is going to give me 13. And then the tricky one is letter C. It says negative d equals 12.4. First off, this is the first decimal that we've seen. That doesn't mean we're going to do anything different. It doesn't mean it's not possible. It's okay to have decimals in your equation, or fractions, or 0, or whole numbers, or integers. Doesn't matter. You can have those in there. So for letter C, negative d, I'm choosing to rewrite it as negative 1 times d equals 12.4. So that way we can see that the negative d is really saying negative 1 times d. So to undo that multiplication, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1. It's very common for students to want to add 1 here. We are dividing because this is multiplication up top. So we're going to divide by negative 1. 12.4 divided by negative 1 is negative 12.4. Example 2. So it says solve each equation, show your work. So this is saying x divided by 3 equals 4. Well, I want x by itself, and that's what's in the numerator. I have to get rid of the denominator, which is 3. So I'm going to choose to multiply both sides of the equal sign by that denominator. So 3, I'm going to multiply on this side, and 3, I'm going to multiply on this side. Now notice in red it says these reduce to 1. If I do 3x, 3 times x divided by 3, that's going to reduce to 1x. That's why I have just an x. 4 times 3 equals 12. So x equals 12. On letter B, same idea. X divided by 8 equals 11. I'm going to multiply both sides by my denominator, which in this case is 8. And then I reduce what's on the left. 8x divided by 8 is just x, and 11 times 8 is 88. Okay, similar for letter C. Down here in example 3, this is just working through problems, whether you're adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. So I'm combining what we did in the past 2 days. The big one that I want to look at is letter C. It says negative 3x equals 0. Lots of students like to say there's no answer. Okay, well, there is an answer. Negative 3 times x equals 0. Some number times negative 3 is going to give me the value of 0. Well, let's solve it mathematically. We divide both sides by negative 3. 0 divided by negative 3 is just 0. It is okay that you have 0 as an answer. There is nothing wrong with it. Just like you can have a negative number as an answer. Just like you can have a decimal as an answer. 0 is a completely acceptable solution. Now remember, you can always check your answers. I can take x is 0 and substitute it in where I see x. Negative 3 times 0, it gives me 0. I did it right. I can check another one if I solved letter I already. Negative 1 times negative 53. Well, when I multiply two negatives, I get a positive. I get positive 53, and that's what it said. As always, if you have questions, make sure you reach out.